our program at the at Kauaʻi Community College. I'll share this generally for anybody interested in natural resources or environmental science or conservation, or really any general biological sciences degree. First of all, can you hear me okay, everybody? If maybe you can give me a thumbs up or something to make sure it's all coming through. Okay, excellent, excellent. So, you know, I teach a wide variety of sciences. My background is physics for my undergraduate degree, and I have a doctorate in oceanography, but more on the physical side. But I'm the coordinator for our Associate of Science in Natural Science program, which covers physical sciences, biological sciences, engineering, and other campuses have others such as computer science. But there's a lot of similarities, and this is something I share with all students, no matter what course I'm teaching, and that is think about what you are doing. Why are you interested in going to school? What is the purpose? How does this help you in any way, shape, or form? And it really is the same answer for pretty much any pursuit of education. And that's what's on here in this first bullet here, is it gives you an opportunity to do something that you enjoy. There are a lot of tourist jobs, I would say very good tourist jobs, or there were on Kauai, and they pay decent money, especially when you're 18, 22 years old, 25 years old even. The way you're thinking is it's an awful lot of money. Maybe when you have kids, you think you want more, of course, and you're thinking you want to buying a house and all that stuff. You always want more because it's hard. But I want you to think about how you're going to be working more than anything else in your life, more than your hobbies, more than time with your friends. So it's really an opportunity, and education is an opportunity to do something that you enjoy. It gives you more chances to find something you enjoy doing, that you're not watching the clock to see when this is going to be over, but you're watching it to see how much more time do I have left to finish what it is I want to do. So the other thing is, as you'll find as you go through life, that loneliness and emptiness that comes with being human, I think, at least in my experience and many other people, it really makes your life feel a lot more worthwhile and pleasant when you're doing something that is meaningful to you. So doing something that you find fulfillment with and you find meaning with in your life, that's another door that's opened, a door of opportunity that's opened with an education. And in particular for these types of jobs, if you're thinking about natural resources and environmental science, then being able to be outside, doing something that enhances your life and your health rather than sitting all day long, which as we now know through research is actually not very good for you. So the other thing that we're acutely aware of during this pandemic is that a lot of these good tourist jobs, they can sort of vanish. They can come and go quite quickly depending on the economy or things like a pandemic. And when you have a skilled job, something in science, say, it's hard to find people to fill those jobs, right? And that means you have more job security. That means when the pandemic comes along, you're less likely to be let go. And the pay, I'm not talking about getting rich here. You definitely won't as a scientist. I can guarantee you that pretty much. But it's solid pay, and usually the benefits are pretty good, meaning that you have decent health care, you have things like sick leave, maybe maternity leave, and decent retirement benefits. That's generally the case. I can't say it's universally because, as you'll see for the job outlook down here, there's quite a bit of variety in terms of the job outlook. Sorry, I got my computer in the way here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Thank you. So in terms of job outlook, it's really highly variable. There's federal, state, local government jobs. There's jobs in nonprofits. There's jobs in the private sector. Pretty much any area where you can think of there being a job, there is when you're in these areas of conservation and natural resources and environmental science. So you could just do a basic search. If you search Hawaii jobs in natural resources or environmental science or conservation, just doing those search terms, this is what I came up with. I want to make sure I'm sharing my screen properly here. So new share, I'm going to show you this website here. This is the Hawaii Conservation Alliance. I just Googled conservation jobs Hawaii, came up with this. But what you can see in this website here, if you go to a link, this first link, Conservation Career Compass here, I clicked on this, and it has these resources for navigating a career. It has examples, diverse examples that you have Conservation International, and a couple of programs that focus on Native Hawaiians. There's all kinds of career pathways here, showing you, PhD and academia, internships and fellowships, etc. You can work for the private sector, for environmental consulting firms, etc. I made like a little list here. Let me make sure I share that screen for you. You share here. And here, just an example, I was just Googling through and thinking off the top of my head, the ones I know of for NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, Kauaʻi Invasive Species Committee, that's here on Kauaʻi, National Tropical Botanical Garden here on Kauaʻi, the State Department of Land and Natural Resources, Office of Hawaiian Affairs, Kauaʻi Endangered Seabird Recovery Project, etc. And there's all kinds of ones, the U.S. Department of Defense, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, if you're talking about inspections. These are jobs that are in research labs, there are field work types of jobs, they're in planning departments, they're in government, as I mentioned, they're in the nonprofit sector, environmental consulting firms, etc. There's a huge variety of different kinds of jobs. I will say this, there are not a ton of these jobs. There is projected to be more and more of them in the future, but they're really hard to fill with qualified people. I can't tell you how many times NOAA has come to me, as an oceanographer and said, we have somebody we need somebody to do this kind of job, and they just need a bachelor's of science degree. They need to have some experience with Hawaiian culture. That's all we're looking for, and they have a really hard time filling it. So like I said, that's sort of why you get the job security, is they have a hard time filling these kinds of jobs. Now, I'll make this document available to you. It'll be linked with the archive of this video. This video is archived, so you should be able to see it with the screen sharing technology should be showing it as well in the video as you see it here. So that's sort of the lowdown on the jobs there. I'll wrap this up, and then I'll give you a chance to ask some questions. The next question we were asked to talk about, which makes sense, is what kind of prerequisites you need for this kind of thing. Well, the Associate of Science degree in Natural Science, it's at all of the campuses, the community college campuses, and it's really at all the universities in the UH system. It's really at all the universities in the world. It's a very core program of the first 2 years of college, the first 2 years of courses that anybody doing any kind of biological science, whether it's medicine or conservation or just a general biology degree or a global environmental science at UH Manoa, all of them have a lot of things in common. And those are that you need a year of general biology in those first 2 years, and that's what you can fulfill for our degree, but it's really standard. A year of chemistry, of general chemistry and labs, biology and labs here, and that gives you the building blocks. It's like your toolkit for being able to do the really fun, exciting stuff when you get to your upper division. Generally, not always, but a year of math, of calculus in particular, which is a relatively high bar, I think, for some folks. And then a year of college physics. This physics, generally, it doesn't require calculus to be able to do this physics, trigonometry. That's for a general biology degree. The advantage of that is you have the maximum flexibility. You could transfer anywhere in the world pretty much, and these are the courses that they're going to require. Also for employment, it's understood if you have a bachelor's, if you transfer to a four-year institution, get a bachelor's of science degree in biology, it's understood that you have these courses. If you're looking for employment, if you're looking to go to a graduate program, these are the courses you need. So that's why I say maximum flexibility. But if, for instance, you're like, gosh, I'm never going to use calculus, it's really, really hard, I'm going to be doing something that doesn't require that, there's lots of opportunities there as well. So for natural resources programs, some environmental science programs, say at Hilo, or forestry and agriculture programs, they don't necessarily require all those same courses. For instance, many of them would require, instead of a full year of chemistry, maybe just one semester of chemistry in labs, and that semester is survey of chemistry, which is not quite as rigorous as the general chemistry. Maybe they require Math 140X, which is trigonometry, instead of a full year of calculus, just one semester of trigonometry. Maybe instead of the full year of physics, it's just one semester, or for some of them, it's no physics at all. So it really depends upon the program you're looking at and what kind of career you're looking at as well. So you're not having to get by this barrier, because it is a barrier for many people of calculus, for instance. It depends. Are there hands-on opportunities? Absolutely. Generally, these conservation types of jobs require you to go outside in the field, and that's usually a big plus for why people like them. And at our campus, for instance, and at many other campuses, that's really what we encourage. We have funding from multiple sources for students to do hands-on independent study projects. In our case, we're able to offer a stipend. So that's money, extra money that you can put in your pocket for the work that you're doing. And also we have funding to purchase any equipment or reasonable equipment that you need to do it, and to have the staff there to help you be successful in that. Part of that money comes from the National Science Foundation for our Halau Ola Honua program. That's at several campuses, including ours, and it's to increase Native Hawaiian participation and particularly graduation, transfer to and graduation in geosciences. And let me show you what that site looks like. Here, this is our Halau Ola Honua website here. If you just Google Halau Ola Honua, you can find it, and it describes some of the programs there, not just the stipends for funding, but field courses and the like. It's a great program. If you want to get enrolled, it's very easy. For the community colleges like ours, we're an open enrollment institution. What that means is anybody is accepted, everybody's accepted. There's no specific requirements to be accepted. You can sign up for any major that you like, with the caveat that certain courses may require a prerequisite. And so you might have to meet that prerequisite to take a certain course. But just to get enrolled, right here, I've highlighted steps to enroll. And when you click on that, it takes you to this page. Here, students start here and how to apply. And that runs you through the process there. So that's, I think, pretty much it for the presentation part. That's what I wanted to get to. There's the steps for registering, and I've got those linked here in this document, which I'll upload. So let me add one last thing before we go to the questions. That is, part of our program, we have a 1 credit, so unique to Kauaʻi, we have a 1 credit course that's an orientation for anybody trying to pursue the sciences. You can take that class. It's called Science 170 Steminar. It's a 1 credit course. And what I do in that course is I just talk to you, and we talk about what you are thinking about for your future, what your preparation has been, where you want to go, what courses maybe you should consider taking. If you want to go to Oregon State, what courses should you be taking here at Kauaʻi Community College? If you want to go on to UH Manoa in a particular major, what courses should you be taking? What kind of jobs might that lead to? And I bring in experts to talk to you about what they did in their pathway, what they do for their job, and what their outlook is for that type of career. So just keep that in mind, and that's what I think would be a good use of your time right now. Hit me up with your questions that you have about what you want to do. So the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. We do have a few questions coming in through chat, so I'll read those out for you to then respond to.
Okay.
What are any emerging opportunities to do coursework online, virtually?
Great question. So, you know, it really depends on the course and the campus. I can tell you for our campus, for instance, I'm teaching the physics class, the physics that's required for this associate's degree, and I'm co-teaching it with Brad Dempsey. We're doing it all online for the fall for the first time because of the virus. And so any student at any campus, you could go to Honolulu Community College, and if you're enrolled there, you can sign up for this physics course with us if you meet the math prerequisite for that, for instance. And the idea is that we just want to be flexible and have this opportunity for students to take the class online because we just don't know what's going to happen with the virus. So if you go to, let me show you here where you can find out about courses on the website here. So if you go to the top of our website, it's at all of the UH campus websites, there's class availability. And if you see here, it says distance education. If you click on that, it should take you to distance education here. You can select a campus and or maybe a course that you're looking for in particular, and you can see if it's being offered online. So for instance, at our campus here, let me go back so I'll make sure I get right to it. At our campus here, if you want to look at that physics class, what kind of language should it say? This will say, this class is conducted online, right? Okay, you're required to participate in online learning, synchronous learning activities, and it should say that it's a www course. So it's covered up on my screen here. But that's the kind of thing you look for is just look under that distance education class search here. Let me show you where that is again. Class availability, distance education, and then you can select your campus or you can search by course.
Great, thank you. Another question, could you repeat the name of the 1 credit course that you described?
Okay, yeah, let me show it to you. It's Science 170, SCI 170. And that is a course that is going to be online. So under here, under Science, so the SCI is the, we call this the course alpha, the letters. And then there's a bunch of those here. So this one that says 170 here, it's called the Steminar. This is me, I'm the one teaching it. We got 7 students enrolled right now. And this class, anybody in the UH system can take this class. It may not be required necessarily by other campuses, but it is a 100-level college class. It will fulfill credits. At our campus, it is required for the Associate of Science degree. And I think more importantly, its purpose is to give you sort of this career advice from a scientist. I have a bachelor's of science in physics. I have a master's. I have a PhD, and I worked for 7 years in the private sector for a private nonprofit doing research. And you know, I have I have more than 10 years experience teaching, and I designed our Associate of Science program. So you would get that kind of advice, one-on-one personal advice for you for your prospective career. And as I mentioned, I'll bring in experts depending on how the class makeup is, what they're interested in. I'll choose various experts to sort of tailor that to the class's interests. And we'll have, because it's online, we'll just have, like I say, a Zoom session with that expert where they can talk about their history and you can do a Q&A with them. We'll do things like develop a resume as well, things like that. So you can start thinking about how you market yourself to get into another school or to get a job eventually.
That sounds great. Sounds like it could be a model for many programs, really.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't come up with the idea entirely on my own. I've seen this kind of class at other institutions. I've actually taught this kind of class at other institutions.
Okay, another question, and participants, we just have a few minutes left in the session, so go ahead and keep adding your questions. You talked about the independent studies. Are there internships that go along with this program that students can participate in?
Yes. So for independent study classes, you sign up for an actual class. It's 1 or 2 credits, depending on what you want to take on. And there, it's a one-on-one thing. You have the teacher of the class can only have, like, say, 6 students total. And they give you a lot of one-on-one attention to help you sort of develop this idea further, depending on what you're interested in, connecting you with an expert. Because of course that teacher can't be an expert on everything. If you're interested in, say, water resources, maybe contacting someone at the Department of Water. I've done a lot of these kinds of projects. We've had a great collaboration with, say, the Surfrider Foundation on Kauai for water quality testing, where the students were really the one collecting water at a certain designated site and going through the process of how that water was tested for different contaminants, and then collecting that data on a regular basis, plotting it up, sharing those results in a final report. I've had students working with the Department of Defense on surveying for endangered seabirds, or working on studying beaches and measuring how the beaches change with the changing swells, and giving that data over to the county to help with their planning. The list goes on and on. So I think last semester we had a student who took charge of the composting of the food waste from our cafeteria. And that was a new thing for us. It was hugely successful, and the student really made a lot of progress on that. And we've had students go and present at conferences on their projects as well. So it's a great program. And I'm sure this is at other campuses. In fact, I know it's at other campuses as well, through, for instance, the Marine Option Program. If you are interested in that Science 170 class, please feel free to contact me. You can do so I'll give you my email. It's svt@hawaii.edu, or you can search me by this Science 170 in the UH system. Tell your friends. If you have any other further questions, feel free to contact me about those as well, as you try to navigate your future.
Can I sneak in one last question? I see that just popped up. This is for non-Kauaʻi students. Is it difficult to find housing options?
Oh, it depends on the island, and depends on where you live, and depends on your budget. So generally, I'd say the Big Island, Maui, and Kauai, it's easier to find housing options than, say, if you want to be close to UH Manoa, for instance. But depending on where you are on Oahu, it could be more or less difficult. I'm not as familiar with Oahu. On Kauai, it is still a little bit harder and still expensive compared to the mainland, say. But we're doing really well as far as this virus is concerned right now. So I think it's a good option here, and staying close to home in general is a good option. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that was the best I could do, I think.
No, thank you. That makes sense. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Taylor. I think even for myself, I'm just a facilitator, but the program that you offer sounds fantastic. And I hope some of our students take advantage of all that you've shared today. Thank you again, Dr. Taylor, for sharing your expertise with us.
All right, mahalo and good luck.